Well, there was breaking news this week with FORUS sponsoring the Guineas and, of course, the Cape Guineas, a huge race, as we know, over the past couple of years with some top horses coming through to win and then following up on some graded races throughout the world. So with me, and to tell us all about FORUS, is none other than the CEO and founder, Sonny Fisher. Sonny, lovely to have you here in the studio and to tell us all about this exciting venture that you guys are joining with Phumelela.
Thank you very much for having me. It's really exciting time, exciting to be here. Yeah, and we're excited to tell the world the FORUS story. It's, I think, going to bring some good news to South Africa and some hope to people. And yeah, we're really excited. It's been a long journey for us and for us. And yeah, excited to be involved and very excited to be involved with the Phumelela people. I can't speak highly enough of Steve and his team. Unbelievable people, Candace, the whole team there. I'm going to leave out names, but it felt like we became part of the family. So big shout out to them. If there are any sponsors looking for good people to work with, I can really rate Phumelela. It's been a great experience.
Well, we're very glad to hear that, especially since they're part of my team as well.
Awesome.
But let's get into it. What is FORUS?
Okay, so FORUS is a global digital exchange. What does that mean? Well, what we did was we've created a platform where we can bank the entire world on a single blockchain exchange, which means we can now include all of that 3.5 billion unbanked people in the world and provide them with free banking. So you say, what is FORUS? It's free banking. It's free banking for the world. It doesn't cost customers anything and it doesn't cost merchants anything. Pretty cool.
Very cool, especially in today's times, because generally nothing's for free.
No, absolutely. And you know, you say that, but actually so many things are free. You can now call using Skype. You can phone anybody anywhere in the world for free. There's certain things that we used to pay for that we don't anymore. And what that's done as a result is it's made it available to a broader market. So what we're doing with banking is the same approach. By making it free, yes, we're giving up the transaction revenue, but we now got 3.5 billion new customers. And you know, if you multiply anything by 3.5 billion, you get quite a nice answer.
Quite a big number.
So we don't have to make a lot of money out of everybody for it to make sense. So it's all about scale. So that's why it's taken 8 years to put together.
Sure.
And some very clever South African technology. We like to think we're probably the world's leaders in blockchain today. We have, FORUS runs what we call a public utility blockchain. So we've created a blockchain that everybody can use, governments, banks, insurance companies, medical aids. You can store your data securely and encrypted and available to everybody. So yeah, that's a little bit of a complicated story, but you know, in a simple way, what I like to describe it as if Google and PayPal had a baby, it would be called FORUS, because we make our money from advertising.
Okay.
So it's the banking model, but funded by advertising revenue.
So what attracted FORUS to Phumelela and, of course, to racing sponsorships?
So the key to FORUS is we've built the whole platform on the cooperative model where people work together in communities to achieve things. So not a lot of people know that the cooperative banking industry is what built the German and American economies. It's actually what built the South African economy. Companies like Old Mutual, Volkskas, you know, we have a long tradition here of cooperatives. So what we've done is we've taken that cooperative model and said if we all work together, we can achieve so much more. So FORUS is an acronym, and the U stands for ubiquity. So the challenge with the payment system is you have to have lots of merchants and lots of customers at the same time. Otherwise, you have people with a card, but there are no merchants that they can use it at. So the way that we overcome the challenge of getting this ubiquity, because Visa and MasterCard dominate the market, how do you take on a giant like that? Well, the answer is by working with communities like racing, like Phumelela. Because Phumelela is an ecosystem where you have special needs. Breeders need to trade in horses. Punters need to be able to gamble. Payouts need to be paid. Advertising needs to be done. The gate charges, the refreshments that need to be sold. So what you have is a very nice ecosystem with very specific needs that the traditional banks could never come up with a solution. And because we're using cutting edge technology and the power of cloud computing, what we've done is we've put together a solution for the racing industry. So it provides everything from the gaming to being able to finance jockeys, to being able to come up with new revenue streams, and also to be able to make racing accessible on mobile with an effective revenue stream. So so horse racing and the whole gaming world was a natural fit, because also gamification is what drives millennials today. So if you want to start a bank and get millennials on board, adding some gamification is a good way to go. So generally it was a win-win. And then, they made it easy. You want to work with partners who are agile, who understand the market, who in transition. But the other thing that I realized quite soon was Phumelela actually resembles FORUS quite a lot in terms of how it's been structured and financed. And as I got to know more about the industry, I got to see just how it works in practice. Because what you have in the horse racing industry is you have a whole lot of infrastructure that everybody needs to use, but who owns it? So a race course, who does it belong to? And the model that the horse racing industry has come up with, where there's a foundation that owns a lot of the infrastructure, and that then owns a percentage of Phumelela, what you've done is you've got the best of both worlds. You've got a foundation looking after everybody's interests, a trust, who make sure that everybody from the jockeys to the trainers is taken care of. But then you have Phumelela, which is a commercial vehicle, which is there to maximize the revenue. And it's such a different focus, and that's the model that we've done as well. So we have FORUS Foundation that runs the platform for the world, and then we have an advertising platform where we generate revenue, and a percentage of our revenue goes to fund the foundation. And the model works. I mean, how would you do it in horse racing without it? So, so long answer, but it really makes sense. And Phumelela's, profitable. And the thing is, if it's not profitable, it's not sustainable. If you didn't have somebody like Phumelela in this mix, the industry would collapse, and you wouldn't be able to do all the things that are needed, because there's so much ancillary stuff happening around the industry. I mean, you've been in it your whole life, in different areas of it. There's so many different parts to it and so many different sub-industries. So it's amazing to work with people who run it so efficiently, and a lot of money goes through the industry. It's really impressive.
Yeah. People don't realize how big horse racing is in this country.
Or how big a part Phumelela plays in the global industry with the broadcast opportunities. And because we're a digital advertising platform, I think we're going to be doing a lot more with Phumelela down the line, because you have eyeballs exposure globally. I think you're a global broadcaster that's kind of hiding under everybody's nose, People just don't realize. So it's and racing is racing right around the world. The needs are homogenous. Whatever we do here, we can roll it out elsewhere. So that's also, part of what we're about, is exporting South African talent and ideas to the rest of the world.
Fantastic. The Sunshine Sweepstakes, Algoa Cup, was your first project that you took on, and that happened earlier this year. It was FORUS sponsorship. How did that go, and tell us a little bit about the Sunshine Sweepstake?
So glad you asked that, because what we've done with Sunshine Sweepstake is that's where we're bringing the sort of two worlds together. So a large part of the market that we're going after are the traditional unbanked market. They're traditionally the lotto players. They're traditionally the guys at the tabs, at the betting shops. And we wanted to bring them on board onto our platform, because we have a whole lot of products, savings products and investment products targeted to that market. But you can't service that market if they're not on the platform and have gone digital, because you can't collect a premium, you can't collect the savings. So we have the same needs, Phumelela and the bank. We need our customers to be digital. We need them to be able to, whether they're buying a ticket, whether they're investing, the need is the same. So once we've got a customer on the platform, we both benefit. So what we've done is we've taken the thrill of a lottery and built it into a sweepstake. So the difference between a sweepstake and a lottery is you don't pay anything for sweepstake entry.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're using that as an incentive to incentivize people not to pay in cash. Because if you pay for your taxi in cash, you get a taxi ride. But if you pay with your Sunshine sweepstake card or your FORUS card, you get a sweepstake entry and you could win millions. So we're using that whole gamification, instant gratification, incentive to, what the hell, you've got nothing to lose, and once a couple of people start winning, I think word's going to get out, and it creates that excitement. So that was the launch of that brand into the market. And what we've done also is, this is the world's first global blockchain sweepstake. So we're not just running this in South Africa. This is a global initiative, and is going to be massive in America. And we think that the prize that we're going to pay out at the sweepstake is going to be humongous. My actuaries are busy working on it at the moment, and as we drive customer adoption, it could be quite a big number. So we'll keep you posted.
How do we get involved in the sweepstake? Just tell me about that.
So the beautiful thing is we're kicking off the main draw entries on the 16th at the Guineas.
Okay.
And then what we've done is we've done a tie-in with the Triple Crown. And the final draw will be based on the numbers of the races in the Triple Crown. So that'll be the final prize, and we're going to keep everybody posted as that sweepstake number grows. We think the payout could be quite significant. It's going to be really exciting because as we go from race to race, the numbers are going to get bigger. People are going to be dropping out. And it's going to get very exciting. So, and that's a global initiative.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we're very excited about it. We also will be rolling out kiosks at retail and at the various gaming sites. So there'll be kiosks there where people can sign up and enter. And we've also got a whole lot of other amazing sort of prizes and promotions and to make it worth people's while, because that's the start of the digital journey. So, yeah, that's the Sunshine Sweepstake.
You mentioned the Triple Crown, so obviously you're coming on board with that as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're in this for the long haul. We've signed a contract for a year with options to carry on forever. We like I said, in it for the long haul. You can't start a journey like this and then get out. We want to really establish ourselves in this market and grow it. Yeah, absolutely. We also, are in the media business, and we're going to be doing some shows around the horse racing industry. We're looking at a reality show around the training of jockeys. So yeah, we're pretty committed to the industry. It lends itself to so many.
You should do a reality show on the trainers as well. I think you could have some interesting moments.
I'm beginning to realise there's more and more.
But look, I mean, it's a fantastic industry. I'm sure very frightening when you first saw it.
Wow,
it's easy from a distance. When you start getting involved, it becomes a little bit more intimidating.
Absolutely, and I think that we can help with that. We have some television channels. You'll hear more about Mahala TV, which is another brand in our stable. And we're going to be exposing more and more about the behind-the-scenes stuff in horse racing. I think, I was a complete novice. My daughter rides and trains, but I'm scared of horses. Never been involved in horse racing, and having got involved and seeing, it's quite intimidating because you have to have a level of expertise to know what you're doing, and you feel stupid walking up to the counter and what do you ask for, how does it work? So I think that we can also play a role in the educating people, because it's actually
the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's like everything, the more you get to know about it, the more interesting it gets, the more compelling it gets, and you can see why people are jumping up and down and screaming,
Fantastic. But over and above that, I think you brought up a very good point with the education, because I think the youngsters today, and if you've never been involved in racing, now all of a sudden you come racing for the first time, it is very intimidating. And also because the bets, there are so many different kinds of bets.
Yes.
It gets a bit confusing,
Absolutely.
So I think that for me would be a key.
It's a big key, because
forward.
It's not a small nuance. The difference is, and I saw it when I started with a friend of mine, Shane, who knows the industry well, grew up in it. When he started showing me how he bets, you can spend 100 Rand in an afternoon. He's got a whole strategy, and at the end of the day, we got paid out 85 Rand. So for $15, I mean, it was fun, and that excitement of every race, and you're out this, but you're in that, and it's actually very compelling. And $15 for an afternoon's entertainment is not bad.
Well, hopefully it's a bit more in the future.
Well, I live in hope.
But thank you very much for telling us all about FORUS. We really love partnering with you, and we look forward to a prosperous future together. Amen. Let's hope a great partnership, because I think we're in for exciting times.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sonny.
Thank
Lovely
you.
to have you in the studio.
Thanks so much.